adult Triceratops is charging across the vast open plains. On its back, 3 sharp horns are raised, ready to pierce through any enemy. The only creature worthy of being considered a rival to the Triceratops is none other than the Tyrannosaurus rex. But what you're about to witness truly defies imagination. Not just one, but an entire pack of T-Rex is closing in, trapping the poor Triceratops with no way out. The Triceratops is completely desperate, unable to find any gap to escape. A single T-Rex alone is enough to spread terror among all creatures. But what if this ferocious dinosaur species hunted in packs? Indeed, this would be the most horrifying nightmare for the ecosystem of the Cretaceous period. In the late Cretaceous, around 68-66 million years ago, North America, the main domain of the T-Rex, was a land full of drama. Vast river deltas, swampy forests, and lush valleys along the western interior seaway. A warm, humid climate covered in coniferous trees, ferns, and young green grasslands. This was truly an ideal environment for giant herbivores to thrive. Tyrannosaurus rex was the king of this ecosystem. Tyrannosaurus rex was the most iconic predator of the late Cretaceous.
Over 39 feet long, nearly 13 feet tall at the hips, and weighing up to 8-9 tons, it was one of the largest land carnivores ever to exist. Its teeth were up to 1 foot long, conical in shape and thick and sturdy like bone-chopping knives.
The bite force of T-Rex was incredibly impressive. Studies estimate its bite force could reach 35,000, 57,000 newtons, enough to crush the femur of an adult herbivorous dinosaur in a single bite. Despite its bulky appearance, T-Rex could still move at a speed of 20-25 kilometers per h, fast enough to hunt with explosive power. It wasn't the fastest species, but the combination of bite force, massive build, and toughness made it the most brutal predator in history. Herbivores were a rich source of energy, forming a massive food chain where T-Rex held the absolute top position. To survive in the harsh world of the late Cretaceous, T-Rex had to face some of nature's most terrifying living fortresses.
On the lush green plains, the Triceratops, weighing up to 22,000 pounds, raised its massive head, its 3 horns, each over 3 feet long, jutting forward like steel spears.
It was a tank ready to charge at any predator, even the T-Rex. Under low-hanging trees, Ankylosaurus lumbered forward. Its entire body was covered in thick, bony armor, with a humped back like a moving fortress. And at the end of its tail, a bony club weighing dozens of kilograms was poised to deliver a deadly blow, strong enough to shatter the pelvis of any unlucky creature that came too close. In the distance, herds of duck-billed Edmontosaurus stretch out like a moving river. They have no horns, no armor, just gentle creatures, but their strength lies in numbers. Hundreds of individuals move together, spreading out across the grasslands, a massive wall of flesh that could make even the mighty T-Rex think twice before charging in. Against such opponents, T-Rex could easily go from predator to prey. That's why if they hunted in packs like modern wolves or lions instead of acting alone, it truly would be the most terrifying nightmare imaginable. For decades, T-Rex has always been associated with the image of a giant solitary predator ruling the Cretaceous plains. But archaeological discoveries in recent decades have shown the opposite. In Montana, scientists discovered a bonebed, a fossil pit where multiple T-Rex individuals were buried together. This is not a common occurrence, as large predators rarely die in groups if they truly live alone. In Canada, massive trackways left in sediment reveal that multiple T-Rex individuals move side by side, heading in the same direction. Even on some prey skeletons, bite marks from multiple individuals have been found, indicating that more than one T-Rex may have participated in the butchering. Was this merely a scene of opportunistic scavenging or evidence of social structure and even coordinated hunting? The answer remains open. But these findings have opened up the possibility that T-Rex may have had a more complex social life than we previously imagined. In the world of dinosaurs, the concept of pack hunting is not unfamiliar.
A prime example is Deinonychus, a raptor about 10 feet long with sharp, sickle-shaped claws on its toes.
Numerous Tyrannosaurus fossils, a herbivore much larger than Deinonychus, have been found alongside the remains of multiple Deinonychus individuals. This has led scientists to believe that instead of hunting alone, they cooperated and coordinated to attack prey far bigger than themselves. The image of a group of raptors harassing from all sides while others leap onto the prey's back has become a classic example of pack hunting behavior among theropod dinosaurs. And it doesn't stop there. Allosaurus, the giant predator of the Jurassic period, is also believed to have used a similar strategy.
Although there is no absolute proof, many sauropod skeletons, those living towers over 65 feet long, show signs of being attacked from multiple angles.
This supports the scenario of a group of Allosaurus working together to bring down prey too large for a single individual. Fossil evidence from sites like the Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry, Utah, further reinforces the theory that they gathered and possibly hunted in groups. If these species, smaller or similar in size, evolved coordinated behavior to increase their chances of survival, then the question is, why wouldn't T-Rex, with its intelligence, exceptional sense of smell, and superior strength, do the same? Imagine that terrifying power multiplied and organized into a coordinated strategy. Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, even herds of hundreds of Edmontosaurus could be driven into utter despair. A single T-Rex was already enough to strike fear into all creatures, but if they could coordinate, the entire hunting strategy would change. One could rush in to harass the prey, while others circled around to block its escape. This is a common strategy seen in wolves, lions, or even sharks today. And if it ever existed in T-Rex, then no herbivorous dinosaur, no matter how massive, would easily escape the fate of being taken down. When brute strength is multiplied and channeled through strategy, T-Rex would no longer be a mere opportunistic predator, but a perfect hunting machine. Picture a blazing red sunset descending upon the Cretaceous plains. The last light of the day paints the sky in blood-orange hues, reflecting off the ancient fern forests. Out on the grasslands, an adult Triceratops leisurely lowers its head to graze. Its body stands like a living fortress. A massive bony frill shields its skull while three razor-sharp horns jut forward like steel spears. With such power, few predators would dare a frontal attack. But then the ground begins to tremble. Not from a lone predator, but from an entire pack. 5 or 6 giant Tyrannosaurus rex are approaching, their towering forms ripping through the dusty twilight. The lead rex lets out a thunderous roar, deep and booming like rolling thunder, pressing forward with sheer intimidation, sending flocks of small birds in the forest scattering in panic. 2 others silently circle to the sides, step by step closing in the deadly trap. The air is thick with tension. The heavy breathing of the hunting machines. The pounding footsteps making the earth quake. Dust rises in blinding clouds. The Triceratops spins around in desperation, its sharp horns thrust out, ready to pierce anything that dares come close. But the trap tightens bit by bit, leaving no opening for escape. Then the first strike erupts. A T-Rex charges straight at the Triceratops' hind leg, clamping down hard. The prey bellows, struggling to resist, but a crushing blow to its flank throws it off balance. Its massive body can no longer hold steady. Its legs buckle, claws digging into the dirt. Seizing the moment, the entire pack of T-Rex lunges in to tear apart their prize. In that instant, the mighty Triceratops, the symbol of defensive strength, falls. In nature, ecosystems survive on a fragile balance between predator and prey. A lone T-Rex already exerted immense pressure, yet was limited by strong, well-defended prey. If T-Rex hunted in packs, the success rate would soar, and that balance would collapse. Herbivore populations would plummet, leading to a shortage of food for the very predators themselves. The food chain could become distorted, with intermediate species gradually disappearing, destabilizing the entire ecosystem. Instead of a diverse world, the Cretaceous plains might transform into a land ruled exclusively by a single dominant pack-hunting predator. Faced with intense predation pressure, herbivores are often forced to evolve to adapt. Triceratops might develop longer horns. Ankylosaurus might reinforce its thick armor. Or duck-billed dinosaurs might adopt more complex movement strategies. But if T-Rex truly hunted in packs, those evolutionary steps may not happen fast enough. Some large herbivores, instead of surviving until the asteroid impact, might have been pushed to the brink of extinction millions of years earlier. An entire evolutionary branch could be wiped out, all because of the emergence of collective intelligence in the planet's most powerful predator. When a predator reaches the peak of power, territorial boundaries are no longer limits. With the advantage of pack hunting, T-Rex would expand its range from coastal plains to deep into dense forests. They would dominate the entire food chain, from hunting massive herbivores to scavenging from smaller species. No other carnivore could compete. Dromaeosaurids and smaller relatives would be pushed into less significant ecological niches. The Cretaceous world would become the empire of T-Rex, an empire with no rival, only destroyed when the fateful asteroid struck Earth. However, one must also ask, did T-Rex have the intelligence to coordinate tactics? For a long time, T-Rex was seen as a hunting machine that relied more on brute force than on strategy. Yet recent evidence reveals another dimension. Its brain, particularly the olfactory and visual lobes, was far more developed than most other theropods of its time. This suggests that T-Rex had the capacity to perceive its environment and possibly communicate through sound or gestures. Fossil traces show that multiple individuals may have moved together, hinting at a more complex social organization than we once thought. If they were intelligent enough to coordinate, perhaps by dividing roles during a hunt, then it wasn't just muscular power, but collective intellect that allowed wolves, lions, and dolphins today to dominate their environments. If T-Rex hunted in packs, ecological balance could shift within just a few generations. Massive herbivores like Triceratops or Ankylosaurus, once surviving by defensive weapons, would now become frequent prey. Their populations might decline rapidly, triggering a chain reaction throughout the ecosystem. Smaller herbivores like Edmontosaurus or Pachycephalosaurus would be under intense pressure, forced to migrate, reproduce faster, or face early extinction. As a result, within a few million years, the Cretaceous ecosystem could be simplified, with far less species diversity, and the dominance of a pack-hunting superpredator like T-Rex would be almost absolute. Now imagine a gloomy dawn cloaked in mist over the low forests of the Cretaceous. Dim light filters through the ancient treetops, casting a glow onto the damp forest floor. A group of ankylosaurs, living tanks weighing up to 6 tons, slowly graze on leaves. The bony armor on their backs glistens with dew like ancient steel plating. The peaceful atmosphere lasts only a moment, until a thunderous sound shatters the morning, the roar of a T-Rex. From deep within the forest, a massive shadow bursts forth, then another, and another, until a pack of 5 T-Rex emerge together. They don't attack immediately, but move in sync, tightening their formation around the prey like trained warriors. The ankylosaurs immediately shift into defense mode. Their heavy tail clubs, weighing dozens of kilograms, swing violently, crashing into tree trunks with splintering cracks and scattering dirt and rock. But the T-Rex pack knows the safe distance. They back off, circle around, and wait with patience. The entire forest sinks into breathless tension, low growls mixed with the panting breaths of the ankylosaurs. Then the fateful moment arrives. One ankylosaurus slips in the wet mud, its armored back tilting, exposing an unprotected flank. Immediately, 2 T-Rex charge like colossal hunting machines.
Their 12-inch long teeth sink into flesh and bone, bite force crushing through muscle fibers.
The sound of cracking bones pierces the air, mingling with the victorious roars of the hunting pack. The Ankylosaurus fights back feebly, tail club lashing out in desperation, then collapses to the ground. The living fortress, once seemingly invincible, has fallen, becoming proof of the overwhelming power of T-Rex pack hunting. In nature today, pack strategy is the key to success for many carnivorous species. Gray wolves chase prey over long distances, taking turns to wear down their exhausted target. Lions use sophisticated hunting formations, with females breaking off from the pride to drive prey into waiting ambushes. Sharks, like great whites, sometimes hunt in groups, splitting pods of young whales or dolphins to isolate weaker individuals. All these examples show that collective intelligence multiplies individual strength many times over. If T-Rex exhibited similar behavior, it would become a magnified version, 10 times more powerful, bringing a true nightmare to every herbivore of its era. Many scientists argue that the evidence of multiple T-Rex appearing together doesn't necessarily indicate pack hunting. Instead, it could reflect a family unit, a pair of parents with offspring of varying ages. This hypothesis is supported by fossils showing juvenile T-Rex had rapid growth rates, and living close to parents could help them learn how to hunt while being protected from other predators. If this is accurate, the image of a T-Rex pack isn't a bloodthirsty army, but a giant family where young learn survival from their dinosaur parents. Around 66 million years ago, the Chicxulub asteroid ended the dinosaur era. But suppose that before that disaster, T-Rex had indeed been a pack hunter. Then the extinction event might have played out differently. As Earth plunged into darkness and famine spread, a group of T-Rex might have survived longer than solitary individuals because they could share and manage food from scattered giant carcasses. While herbivores perished almost immediately, pack-hunting T-Rex would exploit every massive body until nothing remained. This might have made them some of the last carnivorous dinosaurs to disappear, outlasting many other species, and possibly witnessing the true final days of the Cretaceous. If T-Rex hunted in packs, the consequences might not have waited for the asteroid to strike. For millions of years prior, this predator's dominance could have driven large herbivores to local extinction. The giant Triceratops, the armored Ankylosaurus, and the gentle Edmontosaurus could all have been wiped out from many regions simply because they couldn't adapt fast enough to the unprecedented predation pressure. In that case, the Chicxulub asteroid may have only been the final blow to an ecosystem already destabilized by T-Rex's overwhelming reign. Because of such layered theories, the debate over whether T-Rex hunted in packs remains heated. Some scientists, based on bonebeds and trackways, assert that these creatures moved and perhaps hunted together. But others caution that this is indirect evidence. The T-Rex might have died in natural disasters, not because they lived in groups. Some even suggest they merely gathered briefly to scavenge like sharks today, with no coordinated hunting behavior. This ambiguity between fossil evidence and theory has made T-Rex one of the most fascinating and hotly debated topics in paleontology. Even if we never know for sure how T-Rex behaved, the hypothetical scenario of them hunting in packs remains haunting. Just imagine that collective intelligence combined with massive jaws, the strongest bite force in natural history, and a muscular body weighing several tons. If nature had allowed that to exist, T-Rex would not just be the king of the dinosaurs, but an absolute tyrant, unmatched by any other species. And that question still echoes today. Have we only uncovered a fraction of the true power of the most infamous predator of all time? The Tyrannosaurus was already the ruler of its age. But if it truly knew how to cooperate, the entire planet might have become a T-Rex empire. Still, its fate was sealed by a massive asteroid. Even the strongest cannot escape the vast hand of the cosmos. The laws of evolution and the harshness of nature always preserve Earth's balance, and that is the true ruler.